Easy's coming out the pocket, paying for these records. So there's still the pressure there. Even if we didn't know we was gonna sell a lot, we wanted to at least sell enough so he can make his money back.
Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with Diddy? What are you doing?
I mean, yeah. Then I get a call from somebody. Hi, Jamie Foxx. This is Oprah. I'm like, who? Yeah. I'm like, what? What? Who's that? This is Oprah. She says, you're blowing it.
He's been hospitalized now for what his family's calling a medical complication.
You know, going through the industry, doing your thing. You know, as an artist, you get to a point where you like, I don't care what the industry think.
Hollywood isn't all red carpets and flashing lights. Beneath the glamour, Ice Cube says there's a much darker side, especially for stars like Jamie Foxx.
What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with.
But how far did the industry elites, Diddy, Quincy Jones, and even Oprah, really go to pull Jamie Foxx into their powerful circle? And did Jamie have any choice?
So I just started crying. I was like, man, yeah. And he says, your performance made me grow 2 inches. And I was like, I appreciate it. And he says, Oprah and I would like to give you one thing. I said, what's that? Responsibility.
Ice Cube claims that these so-called mentors led Jamie down a path he couldn't escape. Could this be the real reason behind Jamie's recent struggles?
What makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their club. That pisses them off.
So what exactly did Ice say? According to Ice Cube, Jamie Foxx's entry into Hollywood wasn't the meteoric rise we saw on screen. It was riddled with pressures from powerful people, allegedly orchestrated by none other than Oprah. Ice Cube claims that Jamie was pushed into the inner circles of people like Diddy, Quincy Jones, and the late Sidney Poitier. These weren't friendly connections. They were paths Jamie may have felt he had no choice but to follow.
Some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club.
Oprah herself allegedly played a role in guiding Jamie into these connections, introducing him to the kinds of mentors that would shape his career and his personal life in unimaginable ways. Ice Cube believes Jamie was set up to play a dangerous Hollywood game, one that nearly destroyed him. So what were these elite connections really about? And did Jamie know what he was signing up for?
We do have breaking news this evening. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in Manhattan after a grand jury indicted him.
Jamie Foxx and Ice Cube were both rising stars in Hollywood, but their paths couldn't have been more different. While Ice Cube took a rebellious stance against the industry, Jamie was moving up the ranks fast, catching the eyes of powerful Hollywood figures. But was it Jamie's talent alone that got him noticed? Or did he owe his connections to certain mentors who had plans of their own?
Then I get a call from somebody. Hi, Jamie Foxx. This is Oprah. I'm like, who? Yeah. I'm like, what? What? Who's that? This is Oprah. She says, you're blowing it.
Fans seem to have noticed the pressures Jamie faced early on, particularly from high-profile names like Quincy Jones, who allegedly took Jamie under his wing for reasons we can only speculate about. With advice from people like Oprah, Jamie found himself mingling with a crowd that might have been both a blessing and a curse. But while Jamie found himself drawn deeper into Hollywood's elite circle, not every star bought into it. Ice Cube, for one, has always stood his ground, refusing to join the so-called inner circle that seems to hold influence over so many major stars. In 2023, he made it clear in a podcast clip that he never wanted any part of that exclusive club.
Some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club.
Cube then went on to reveal that his audience is also not part of the club. You see, all the celebs that are part of the industry, elites also propagate the illicit agenda to their audiences. Therefore, they naturally make them part of this rumored club.
A lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either.
Now, you might be wondering, what is the deal with this club? Well, Ice Cube cracked the code on the industry elites. He explained that even though the club wants all the influential figures to be under them, they get pissed off when the big fish, such as Cube himself, refuses to obey.
What makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their club. That pisses them off.
Well, the so-called secret society has a monumental influence on its members' lives, one of them allegedly being Jamie Foxx. And the word on the street is that Jamie has been on their hit list for quite some time. Looks like the industry is loyal to no one but itself. According to ICE, all the celebs have to face this club one or more times in their career.
I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with.
What a lot of people don't realize is that the so-called gatekeepers of Hollywood are doing way more than just keeping their inner circle out of the public eye. With that in mind, it's not too far-fetched to think Jamie's health scare in 2023 might have had something to do with these Hollywood elites. And if there's one person whose name keeps popping up in this story, it's hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. To really understand Jamie's struggles, you have to look at his complicated history with Diddy. Jamie's been a regular guest at Diddy's infamous parties for years, parties that have long been surrounded by wild rumors. These parties weren't just about good music and high-end drinks. Some say there was a much darker side to them. For those in the know, Diddy's extravagant lifestyle comes with a catch. Celebrities who've attended these gatherings often left with more than they bargained for, and Diddy is rumored to have ways of keeping people in line, whether through influence, blackmail, or worse. Jamie was a frequent face at these events, leaving fans wondering just what he might have gotten into. One story that stands out, according to TI, is when Diddy allegedly pushed Jamie into a game of naked basketball. Yep, you heard that right. Naked basketball. Apparently, Diddy came up with the idea to break the ice and make sure the night was unforgettable.
If you want to know who was probably at these games, just look at who P. Diddy and Jamie Foxx have been hanging around for years, especially the super successful ones.
Now, can you imagine being at that party? Talk about taking things to a whole new level. Say what you will, but Diddy certainly knows how to throw an unforgettable bash. The big question, though, is did Jamie Foxx actually go through with it? Well, it seems that Jamie was a good sport and didn't shy away from the challenge. He embraced the moment and jumped right into the game of naked basketball.
He would invite over a lot of Hollywood's elite to his house for a basketball game, but it was men only.
Wow, that's definitely pushing boundaries and stepping way out of your comfort zone. But hey, when you're with Diddy and other A-listers, anything can happen, right? But here's the thing, this wasn't Jamie's first time at one of Diddy's infamous parties. In fact, an old clip of Jamie Foxx revealing shocking details from one of Diddy's creepy parties resurfaced online last year.
Big cannon, yo, Puff, I should document this, right?
Back in the early days of Jamie's entertainment career, when he was still trying to break into the music industry, he attended one of Diddy's exclusive parties in Beverly Hills. Jamie, always sharp, brought a camera along hoping to document the night. And when he asked Diddy for permission to film, Diddy was all for it.
You spent $1.5 million on this party? I said, you come to my house, I'll throw you a party for $400, and it will rival this, not in scale.
This wasn't just any party. It cost a jaw-dropping $1.5 million with a guest list full of A-list celebrities arriving in luxury cars. Jamie followed Diddy into the lavish pool party, and the first person his camera caught was none other than Dr. Ruth, the famous Hollywood therapist. Sensing a golden moment, Jamie got Dr. Ruth to have a spontaneous conversation with Diddy, right on camera. And then, out of nowhere, Dr. Ruth and Diddy hit the dance floor by the pool, vibing to Beyoncé's Crazy in Love. The scene was electric, the crowd loving it, and even Jamie Foxx gave a nod to the energy and spirit of the night while honoring the late Heavy D. Jamie wasn't just a guest, though. He took on the role of teaching Diddy how to party on a budget. His stories about showing Diddy how to throw an amazing party without spending a fortune have become legendary. In fact, Jamie even shared the story on The Colbert Show, reminiscing about how he turned Diddy into a thrifty party pro. "I'm like, you are out of your mind," he said. "I said, Puff, I will throw you a party for $400 that will rival this party." Fox said Diddy was a bit offended at first, but eventually went along with it the next time he was in Los Angeles. He called and said, "Yo, Playboy, I'm in town. Make it happen." So I said, "Cool," he said, adding that he went on to invite 200 of the coolest people before Diddy finally arrived. I said, "Puff, look over there on the dinner table. I got Kentucky Fried Chicken. I put it on a nice plate. I got Coca-Cola. I put it in a pitcher. We are at $208 and we are K-ing it right now." Fox has claimed that he started gathering artists at his house because he was pursuing music, and having new and old artists together listening to their music helped him and others start their career in the industry. His involvement with Diddy boosted up his attendance to places where he could freely connect with others in the industry. But aside from teaching Diddy how to party on a budget, Jamie also revealed that Diddy's parties were the craziest he had ever been to. These parties were more than just expensive. They were also a hotbed of unusual behavior, seemingly orchestrated by Diddy to fulfill his S fantasies.
Puff and Tupac was like a couple, seemed like to me. It was just a lot of weird shit. going on, you know what I'm saying? The vibes ain't there. I guess that's what Tupac was talking about, the Illuminati is.
It seemed like Jamie Foxx and Diddy were pretty tight, until rumors started swirling that Jamie wasn't keeping all of Diddy's secrets. Allegedly, Diddy has a habit of shutting down anyone who tries to spill the tea on his private life, and it looks like Jamie may have crossed a line. While Jamie was in Atlanta working on his Netflix film Back in Action, word got out that he'd been hospitalized for a medical emergency, and the news hit the headlines fast, sparking major concern among fans. On April 12, 2023, Jamie's daughter, Corinne, shared a post on Instagram, letting everyone know that her dad was on the mend thanks to quick medical attention. For a while, this seemed like enough to put people at ease. But as the days went on, questions around Jamie's health started popping up all over again. Production on Back in Action faced setbacks, with at least one scene canceled, leading to whispers about just how serious Jamie's condition really was. By April 17th, reports confirmed he was still in the hospital but was gradually improving. The fact that doctors were still running tests kept fans on edge, but his steady recovery brought some relief. A few days later, on April 21st, Jamie was reportedly awake, alert, and under medical care, which gave fans hope he'd be back on his feet soon. Then on May 3rd, TMZ dropped another update. Jamie was still receiving medical treatment, and the fact that he hadn't returned to his role as the host of Beat Shazam set off even more rumors. His daughter Corinne also stepped back from her duties on the show, making the situation look even more serious. But finally, Jamie spoke up on Instagram that same day, thanking fans for their support and saying he was on the road to recovery. Corinne also cleared things up, mentioning her dad had been out of the hospital for a while and was even active enough to play a little pickleball. Not long after, on May 13th, Jamie and Corinne announced they were working on a new game show called We Are Family. Jamie's return to the spotlight seemed to confirm he was doing better, though it was later reported that he'd spent time at a specialized rehab center in Chicago to fully get back on track. When Jamie did finally step back into the public eye, he made it count. He showed up at an event celebrating the achievements of Black, Latino, and AAPI individuals and wasted no time in addressing the gossip that had been circulating. "I couldn't do that 6 months ago," he joked, pointing to the stage. Then he added, "And no, I'm not a clone. I know a lot of people were saying that I was cloned out there." The crowd erupted in laughter, but under his humor, there was a seriousness to Jamie's words. He opened up about how his health scare had changed his perspective. "It feels good to be here," he said, his voice tinged with emotion. "I cherish every single minute now. I wouldn't wish what I went through on my worst enemy because it's tough when it's almost over, when you see the tunnel." His words showed just how close he'd come to losing it all, and it was clear that the experience had given him a new outlook on life. Fox's honesty resonated deeply, and his words struck a chord with the audience. He went from being the guy who always had a joke ready to someone reflecting on life's fragility. The experience seemed to change him, adding layers to the easygoing humor he's known for.
Cherish life, man. I cannot tell you. I had some people in my life that really made sure I was here because it was dire straits.
The audience hung on every word, captivated by the raw honesty emanating from the acclaimed actor. Transitioning from the somber reflections, Foxx delved into the transformation he underwent, developing a newfound respect for life and his craft. "I have a new respect for life. I have a new respect for my art," he declared, his gaze sweeping across the room. His experience had become a crucible, forging a deeper connection to his artistic endeavors. In a moment of impassioned advice, Foxx addressed aspiring artists in the audience, urging them not to falter in the face of adversity. "Don't give up on your art, man. Don't give up on your art," he passionately conveyed. His words hung in the air, resonating as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of artistic expression. When you realize that it could be over like that, I gotta tell you, don't give up on your art, and don't let them take the art from you either. In any case, it seems Foxx might have gotten the medical emergency because he had forgotten he was indebted to not only Diddy, but also Oprah and her fellow elites. You see, she once saved his career, albeit in the most shady way. In 2005, Foxx was riding high from the critical acclaim he garnered for his performance as Ray Charles in the musical biopic Ray, a role for which he would eventually win the Academy Award for Best Actor. But his celebrating had turned into non-stop partying. Winfrey took notice of this and called him up out of the blue. While the actor thought her involvement was because she wanted better for him, it turns out she had her own plans all along.
"Hi, Jamie Foxx. This is Oprah." I'm like, "Who?" Yeah. I'm like, "What? What? Who's that?" This is Oprah. She says, you got an opportunity to do something great, walk into the history books, and you're blowing it, and I need to help you with it. And I said, well, I'm sorry what I need to do. So she took me to Quincy Jones's house.
Winfrey took Fox to the home of record producer Quincy Jones, where an impromptu intervention had been set up. Doing an uncanny impersonation of Jones, Fox remembers being told, "You've done a great job on Ray, but you've effed everything else up now. You gotta buckle down, baby." He continued, "Oprah says, now, are you ready to meet the person that I've brought you here to talk with?" And it was Sidney Poitier.
I just started crying. I was like, man, yeah. And he says, your performance made me grow 2 inches. And I was like, I appreciate it. And he says, Oprah and I would like to give you one thing. I said, what's that? Responsibility.
While this interaction might not be considered the least bit weird with any other person, the fact that it was coming from Sidney Poitier seems to have sent chills down Fox's spine. And I'll tell you why. Jaguar Wright has been dropping bombshells left and right, claiming that Sidney Poitier, much like P. Diddy, played a significant role in manipulating and exploiting the entertainment system. She asserts that while Poitier was seen as an icon of progress, behind closed doors, he may have been anything but the paragon of virtue the world believed him to be.
The things that he did to Eartha Kitt, the lies that he told on RCD and Ruby.
But where's the proof? Well, Wright isn't the only one talking. Alleged family members have come forward, backing up these sensational claims. One individual commented, "I'm a Poitier, and the things I've heard about him ain't good. He dissed his whole family. He's my grandfather's cousin, and he left and never looked back on some BS." Another chimed in, "Wow, so we are related. My grandmother said the same thing and always got angry if you mentioned his name." These comments paint a picture of a man estranged from his family, someone who perhaps wasn't the hero the public adored. The revelations don't stop there. One person shared that they used to do the hair of one of Sidney's daughters in the 80s and claimed she didn't have good things to say about her father. Another anecdote involves a girlfriend who revealed that Sidney once approached her at a party in a manner far from gentlemanly, reminiscent of the stories we hear about Diddy's notorious party antics. For decades, Sidney Poitier has been celebrated as a symbol of dignity and grace in Hollywood. He was the first African American to win an Academy Award for Best Actor, breaking significant racial barriers.
The winner is Sidney Poitier.
Yet, if these allegations hold any water, it suggests that his public persona was meticulously curated to mask a much darker reality. One can't help but wonder how these revelations, if proven true, will reshape our understanding of Poitier's legacy. Did the man who became a beacon of hope for so many also have a hidden side, marked by controversy and estrangement? Anyway, what's more scary is the fact that Oprah had taken Fox to Quincy's house. Now, if you have even a tiny bit of interest in Hollywood, you must know Quincy Jones. He is a legendary producer, musician, songwriter, and so on. Thus, he is also given the title of the Black Godfather of the industry. Quincy Jones has produced for an impressive list of notable artists during his career, but this is not the only reason he has been hitting the headlines. For decades, Quincy's has always been a topic of great buzz on the internet.
Let me tell you something. That means Quincy's gay. Quincy might be on, and let me tell you why I think this.
It has always been speculated that Quincy Jones forced men into gay relationships in exchange for making them famous and big in Hollywood. As scandalous as it sounds, the list of Quincy's hookups seems to be unlimited. But two of the names from Quincy Jones's flings history have always been the most discussed. These are none other than Tupac and Will Smith. It's been long rumored that Jones forced them into sleeping with him. This undefined relationship with Quincy affected them quite a lot as he tried to turn them gay like him.
Come on, man. Look what type of you is. You gonna let these little geek white boys feel on you like that?
While it is easy to doubt that Oprah might have been responsible for Quincy picking a liking to Fox, this is actually not the first time the television host has reportedly enabled SA by the hands of someone close to her. A while back, a British actress alleged that Oprah had allegedly been involved in Harvey Weinstein taking advantage of her. British actress Katie Noble said she was head over heels impressed when she first met Weinstein at an event in London because he was hanging out with model Campbell and had megastar Oprah swinging off his arm. "I thought, obviously, this man has something amazing in store for me," she said during a teary-eyed press conference in Manhattan to discuss the lawsuit she filed against Weinstein in Manhattan federal court. After meeting Weinstein in London, Noble said she thought nothing of bringing her showreel to his hotel room when she saw him again in Cannes in February 2014. "Once inside the hotel room, however, he didn't seem that interested in my showreel," Noble said. Instead, he began touching her while discussing hooking her up with a modeling agency in London. In any case, despite everything he's endured, Jamie Foxx has shown resilience time and again. He's spoken about the daters in Hollywood, those who try to manipulate talent to their advantage. But Jamie has continued to fight for his independence, determined to build his career on his own terms. Whether it's taking on new roles, pursuing music, or creating opportunities, Jamie's journey is far from over. Ice Cube's revelations may have brought past struggles to light, but they've also shown the strength Jamie has built through his battles with Hollywood's darkest influences. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.